Okage Shadow King is a JRPG that was originally released in 2001 for PlayStation 2. It's extremely stylized and has a very dark sense of humor. It was pretty obscure, but it received a digital re-release on the PS4 in 2016. The story follows a boy named Ari who's known for being very average, or maybe below average. He's not very memorable according to the other characters in the game. He lives with his family in a large Victorian house above a small village. He's sent to get bread in the beginning of the game, hears about the circus coming to town, and misses going because his dad finds a magic bottle and talks on and on about his hypothesis for what it is. The bottle ends up holding an evil king demon called Stan who requires a human vessel to live in the shadow of. Ari's sister had been cursed by a ghost and could only speak in Pig Latin, so in exchange for possessing Ari's shadow, Stan cures her but makes her shadow pink. He finds out while he was trapped in his bottle that his evil powers were stripped by wannabe evil kings. Ari is now forced to explore the ends of the earth to get those powers back and take over the world or whatever. It plays like a generic JRPG. You explore a world map with enemies appearing and you can engage in battle with them. It's turn-based, and to be honest, the battles can be very hard in the beginning. You don't have much HP or strong attacks or items. It's easy to get overwhelmed and wiped out, and then you have to restart from your last save. You need to make sure you're prepared for fighting and make sure you save often. Each character has special moves that can make battles easier, however. For example, Ari can use Overdrive, which powers up a member's attack damage and gives them a chance to attack all enemies at once. Once your party has attacks that hit multiple enemies, the game is a lot easier. There are towns with stores and inns and other buildings you can go in. There are also dungeons you can explore and bosses to take down. Generally, the bosses are one of the fake Great Evil Kings. What makes this game stand out from the others is its sense of humor and characters. Ari is extremely aware of how insane everyone around him is, and his response options can be hilarious. There are also a lot of mature jokes that will go right over younger players' heads. Almost everyone you meet is eccentric, and your party members aren't your normal type of company. Stan is an arrogant former evil king who thinks he's terrifying and powerful, but everyone else thinks he's a magic trick. This angers him to no end. Rosalind is a hero who became a laughingstock after she encountered Stan, and he turned her shadow pink after insulting her figure. She threw his bottle into a remote location where he stayed for 3 years before Ari's dad found him, and because of this, he and Rosalind bicker constantly. Kisling is a scientist who studies ghosts and is also a fan of pretty young women. He gets along swimmingly with Ari's father after sharing their mutual interest in toenail clippings. Linda is a girl who wants to become a teen pop idol but isn't very good at singing. She becomes infatuated with Stan after he berates her singing and gives her tips how to improve by singing about evil kings and dark themes. Marlene is a non-human soulless princess, literally she has no soul and isn't a human, and is rescued by Ari from an evil king. She decides he belongs to her after Stan shoves Ari into her, making him grope her. She puts her foot down on owning 2/3 of Ari and bosses Stan around constantly. There are a few other party members and important story characters, but they all have their quirks. There's a dating sim aspect where certain choices can make a character's affection for you go up, and you can be close with a different character at the very end of the game. The style of the characters and world is reminiscent of Tim Burton and is a mix of gothic, steampunk, and anime. It's very unique looking and one of the best parts of the game. Every character stands out. The enemies remind me a lot of enemies from Klonoa 2 Lunatea's Veil. Everything looks magical and very fantasy-based. The story starts out whimsical, but it gets very dark later in the story. Okage Shadow King is very underrated in my opinion, and I know it gets docked points for gameplay, specifically battles and the camera angles. If they did a remake or actual remaster, those are some things they could fix, but I like the game how it is. The story and characters are the biggest reason to play, and maybe if it gets enough digital downloads, they'll consider remastering it.